Hey, what's up guys, Mashine here, come back with a brand new video for you guys. This one's jam-packed. We got some good news, some bad news, and a lot to talk about. So the first thing we're going to be talking about are the April unboxings. Now if you didn't notice, April's unboxings came in and they were over 50 million. However, there's a big caveat that goes with that. That's the Anubis package. The Anubis package was included in case unboxing, which in my opinion is not necessarily the greatest comparison to past months because obviously there's an unlimited supply of the Anubis collection right now and there's not with many other cases, and we're going to talk a little bit more after a quick word from today's sponsor. Are you looking to grab some of those great looking CS2 skins but don't want to spend a ton of money on Steam tax selling off your current ones? Well, you don't have to with today's sponsor, SkinsMonkey. SkinsMonkey is a trading website that's currently offering you $5 free if you use code MasterShiny, or an additional 35% bonus on new deposits with the code MasterShiny. All you have to do is pick out the skins you no longer want, pick out the skins you do want, and send that trade. And if you don't have any skins, don't worry, they're giving away hundreds of dollars worth of skins all the time. Now coming back to unboxing numbers, it seems like we were 100% correct with our assumption that there was some major problems going on. It's very easy to see in the day-to-day unboxing trend. After the 19th of April, the numbers dropped down significantly, and the 19th of April is actually the 18th of April when you're looking at this graph because the day's numbers are 1 day old. But you can see around the 21st and 22nd it gets hit very hard, and then the Anubis package comes in. This is just to reiterate that I'm telling you the useful and correct information, and obviously there was a problem. They've got a whole statement about it in this month's unboxing numbers, so you can go ahead and confirm that. To go along with that, it seems like very interesting that the Fracture case is now the second most unboxed case, presumably because it is on that cheaper end when we're talking about these active duty cases. Recoil and Revolution are still unboxed a heck of a lot, and at this point it doesn't really seem, looking at this active drop pool, any of them are lacking or even would be taken out. It could be a potential 6th case being added. That's happened before. If you look at the non-prime drop pool, it had 6 cases in it when it was removed. And the Clutch is no longer the most unboxed confirmed rare case. It was actually the Danger Zone, and the Prisma 2 was right behind the Clutch. So a little bit interesting. To go along with that, it's been quite a busy week talking about insider or potentially unethical trading. The first thing obviously we got to mention is Copenhagen Flames. If you didn't know, Copenhagen Flames recently went bankrupt, and it's a little bit interesting. We'll talk a little bit more about what exactly that means in just a second, but a lot of their players were caught going ahead and buying up some stickers before they actually announced their bankruptcy. Very similar to insider trading, or perhaps even exactly insider trading, depending on what you're looking at. This is a little bit of a mixed bag because obviously everyone's going to take the route that they were trying to stock up to get money, and there's definitely a very real aspect to that. However, we don't know their intentions. Their intentions may have been to stock up on these sticker because they knew this sticker is never going to be back in the game. They really like it. They want to remember the team they were on for so very long. We don't know, and that's why it's hard to determine absolutely if this was a very unethical thing or if this was some players trying to remember the great times they had on an organization that helped them out a lot. After that, we got some pretty big information regarding the YouTuber Sparkles. Sparkles went ahead and released on May 3rd a video talking about the shattered web case. Basically, he unboxed a really low float skin. Very cool. We don't really care. What we do care about is what he was saying in his video, because let's be completely honest, these big YouTubers have a pretty loyal following. Whether they say buy this, don't buy this, whatever, kind of just goes over the people's heads of who's actually going to buy it. We saw this in the past with Anomaly. Anomaly really pushed hard on graffitis for some reason, talking about how he had a lot, how he thought it was going to go up, and it just didn't really make sense why someone in his position would be doing this, giving out this advice. It just doesn't make sense. These larger YouTubers need to understand who their audience is. But back to Sparkles for that quick second. Basically, in his video, he got someone who is a quote-unquote random person to go ahead and feed him a bunch of advice, and they said they had a master's degree and they worked backwards to figure out the amount of shattered web cases out there. A lot of major problems with this. The first major problem here is obviously that they're cherry picking their information by specifically figuring out the amount that were crafted that's going to be taking the number down. However, what they don't account for is the amount in private inventories, which takes the number back up. It's something that's specifically mentioned on the website, but something that's not mentioned a single time in their document. To go along with that, look at the person who came up with this document. Look what they're putting on Twitter. They are obviously trying to force a pump on this specific item. And don't get me wrong, I love it. I got 700 shattered web cases. I think the shattered web case long term looks absolutely perfect. And I gotta interrupt because I just found a document of someone going over some of these inaccuracies. So on your right hand side, you're gonna find that document, and on the left hand side, we have the original document. But this is not the correct way to go about it. This is kind of fear mongering people into investing into it, or trying to get them to invest into it. it. You look at the chat logs between Sparkles and this other guy, and you can see that the person is suggesting a 5x in price for this case in the next like 10 months or whatever it says. That's not how you do investing. If you're confident into an investment, you don't come up with random BS numbers to throw in there to make it seem like this item is going to go absolutely insane. That's not a productive way to invest, and it's something that highly suggests the person who is coming up with those numbers does not have a ton of confidence in this item, and therefore they need the other people to invest into it so they can get more value. And I mean, come on, are we really going to brush past the fact that this person has 10,000 shattered web cases? The person who gave Sparkles this data that we cannot specifically conclude. I don't, like I've mentioned a couple times, I don't think the shattered web case is a bad investment. I like it moving forward, but this is just completely wrong in how you address an investment. If there's one thing I want you to get out of this specifically, it's to be very hesitant about investing into anything someone specifically tells you to. It's something I've reiterated time and time again. It's why I don't give personalized investment advice, because there's always a hidden reason for it, whether intentional or not. However, a lot has been going on in one specific scene, and that's the gambling scene. The gambling scene has been going absolutely crazy as of recently for a couple big things. The first of which is m0NESY going with G2 and promoting CSGO Roll. Now, I don't blame m0NESY here because he's under contract with G2. It's a really interesting move by G2 though. They signed with CSGO Roll, which is whatever you decide to take of it. But putting him front and center one day after he turned 18 seems to be a really questionable move in my opinion. And it seems like more and more organizations are starting to partner with gambling sites because they can just offer such a premier rate compared to everyone else. Otherwise, one last thing is there was an issue going on with CSGO, how people could not be continuing to play the CS2 beta. It seems like it was resolved. It was actually just a little bit of an interesting error. As you can see here, it had to do with the fact that somehow a version got missed, and that was the version that CS2 was put on. Interesting, but otherwise not too important. Otherwise, that's pretty much all I got. If you guys want to see more videos like this with kind of like a weekly or monthly wrap up, not talking about the market specifically, make sure to let me know. But otherwise, I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you have a great rest of your day.